Have you ever wondered why you struggle with feeling qualified for a specific goal? Or have you ever struggled with wondering whether or not you're valuable enough for a specific role or a position? Maybe you're even struggling with getting clarity on how you show up in the lives of other people. Hey guys, welcome to Maximize Your Monday. I am your vision coach and leadership development trainer, Latoya Early, here to truly help develop leaders and coaches in their purpose so that you can massively increase your performance, generate profit, and impact people. Today, I want to talk about it's the inside work that qualifies you. It's the inside work that qualifies you. If you've been in a space where you've been struggling, whether or not you feel qualified for something, whether or not you've done enough work to show yourself um, qualified or approved for a specific goal, a specific promotion, even a specific way of life. Many of us we spend a lot of time on social media and we look at how others are living their lives. We look at how others are doing things and reaching certain milestones or celebrating a certain level of success. And sometimes you may fall back and you may wonder, why aren't I where I truly desire to be in life? Or why aren't I reaching the goals that I truly desire to reach? And so today I want to talk about it being an inside job. If you are looking for the external benefits, you're looking for the external rewards and outcome, you're looking to reach the external goals, and I'm here to share with you that it is an inside job. It is what's inside of you that is required, the proper adjustment, the proper work, the proper support, the proper guidance in order for you to truly reach the next level that you desire to reach in life. I want to share with you, we've been focusing on a couple scriptures over the course of the month. And when we first started out in our series, we talked about James 1, right? To count it all joy. What does that mean? All of the different trials and tribulations that you may be experiencing in your life, the Bible tells us to count it all joy. Why? Because in those lessons, in those experiences, is where endurance is formed. It's where the testing of your faith is magnified. Let's go ahead and let's head over to James just as a reminder to you of the scripture that we have been focusing on or meditating on. Last week we talked about Philippians. We meditated on the scripture out of Philippians where it talks about how it is our job or our responsibility to treat others, to put the importance of others before ourselves. That was last week, and we focused on. Let's see if I can click back to my notes to give you that exact Philippians 2, 3 through 4. But this week we're focusing back on James 1, 2, and 3, where it says, consider it nothing but joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you fall into various trials. Be assured that the testing of your faith through experience produces endurance, leading to spiritual maturity and inner peace. And let endurance have its perfect result and do a thorough work so that you may be perfect and completely developed in your faith, lacking nothing. The subject of the hour today is not the inside work that I'm sorry, it's the inside work that qualifies you. If I wanted to call it something else, it would be, are you passing the test? Are you passing the test? I want you to take a moment and I want you to identify the internal conflicts that could be keeping you stuck. And of course, you guys know that when I'm looking over to my right, it's because I'm looking at my notes. Have you identified the internal conflicts that are keeping you stuck? What's going on the inside of you? When you think about your external successes, when you think about the goals that you set for yourself, when you think about, the strides that you want to make, whether or not you want a healthier lifestyle, whether or not you want a promotion in the workplace, whether or not you want a stronger or a healthier relationship in your marriage, or maybe with your peers or with a colleague, or whatever your goals are, have you questioned what's going on the inside? Because what is going on the inside is what's going to determine your success on the outside. What's happening on the inside of you, and what does that mean? How do you identify the internal conflicts that are happening inside of you? Number one, when you set a goal for something better, do you feel a resistance? Do you feel something inside of you that prevents you from reaching that next goal, whether or not you have to wake up earlier? Right. So say for instance, if one of your goals is to be healthier on the physical, and that's going to require you to meal prep, or that's going to require you to get up a little earlier to wake up a little earlier to work out. What is stopping you? What is that internal voice telling you? What is the conflict? Is it that I'm too tired? Is it that I just don't feel like it, or I have so much going on? These are the things we need to sit down, and we truly need to identify the words that you're telling yourself that's preventing you from positioning yourself for what's next. If your goal is to achieve what's next in your life, the first thing you want to do, of course, is identify what that goal is. The second thing that you want to identify is what's happening on the inside of me that is preventing me from reaching this external goal. Could it be procrastination? Well, when we think about procrastination, when you get to the root of procrastination, the root to procrastination is fear. What are you truly afraid of? Are you afraid of the responsibility that's required of you for reaching this goal? Are you afraid of the accountability? Are you afraid of success? It's so funny how many of us, we don't consider a fear of success to be natural, because who doesn't want success? Well, what's on the other side of being successful is responsibility and consistency. And sometimes we want the success, we want the reward, but we don't want what's required to maintain that success. My question for you today is, what are you telling yourself? What's the internal conflicts that's stopping you from starting the business? What are the internal conflicts that's stopping you from growing the business? What's the internal conflicts that's stopping you from going after promotion, for going after the grant, the loan, whatever it is that you on the inside desire, but you're finding yourself struggling with reaching that goal because you have an internal conflict? What is that internal conflict? Could it be something that happened to you in your childhood, where maybe no one really encouraged that unique side of you? I share with, I share very often with a couple of people that I do coach and that I work with, a few of my clients, and we talk about how in their childhood, their level of intellect, their brilliance, their value wasn't acknowledged as a child, right? And so they were never supported in their intellectual property. And that's really a lot of the challenges that we face. You haven't been validated based on the intellectual property that you own. You've only been validated based off of, something big. Maybe it was a sports that you played, or, maybe it was the spelling bee. So your validation always came based on the outside, the people who are on the outside cheering you on. But was the validation given to you in the privacy of your home? Were you validated in, the responsibilities that you had in the household? Were you validated in your grades? Or were you only was it only made aware to you, or were you only celebrated, or were you only acknowledged when something bad was happening? Or were you only acknowledged when other people were acknowledging you, right? Did your parent only celebrate you when somebody else was celebrating you versus celebrating you in the intimate times of the household, when you were, you know, completing chores on time, or when you were doing good in class, or when you did something good? Were you validated in those areas? The reason why I bring that up is because a lot of times we struggle with feeling qualified. It's because we were never, the qualifications were never acknowledged in our growing, in our development. And so you don't know that you have a good skill in something because it was never made big enough to be identified as a qualifying factor, right? So whatever that may be, maybe you were good at getting up and making your bed up every day. Maybe I'll use something negative. I remember being in middle school or grade school in general, and I would get in trouble a lot for my citizenship because I talked a whole lot, and I still do talk a whole lot. And I know that we've seen this before, but some of those negative characteristics that were highlighted to us as children, they were, or let me say this, they were highlighted as negative characteristics when they were really a part of your development and who you were to become in the future. And so, why am I saying this? Because we spend a lot of time determining whether or not we're qualified for something, or we spend a lot of time seeking outside validation when the real work is inside of you. What is the inside work? It's acknowledging those internal roadblocks and those conflicts. When you are setting yourself, I have clients who are sitting on the fence on whether or not they want to hire a coach or whether or not they want to join the Chase Great Nick certification program, and they're battling and facing these internal conflicts. And my recommendation to you is to sit down and identify it. Be real with yourself. Have a real moment and identify, what are these internal conflicts? What's keeping you from pushing past the internal conflicts? We know that our thoughts are what creates our reality. Why? Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Right? What does that mean? As a man believe, what is it that he's thinking? What is it that he's meditating on? If a person is meditating on the lack of, or the inability to become, or the gaps that are in their life, and you're more focused on the gaps than you're looking at the success, and you're wondering why you're having a hard time pushing past, it's because you're meditating on what's negative versus acknowledging the positive parts of you, whether, you know, acknowledging the skill, acknowledging the value that you possess. And so what you tend to do is you focus more on the gaps or the inefficiencies versus the areas that, you know, that are really pushing you forward. I was sharing with my son the other day, he started a new position in football, and I was telling him, I said, listen, I said, you're supposed to be nervous. I said, just that's your body telling your mind that you're getting ready to do something different. But here's where you have to make the decision. Either you're going to allow that emotion to push you forward, or you're going to allow that emotion to hold you back. What emotions are you experiencing that you're allowing this emotion to establish a fact in your life versus a part of your progress, right? Maybe you are afraid. Maybe you are uncomfortable. Maybe you are upset. Maybe you are frustrated, but that emotion should be what's pushing you forward. So let me push past this emotion. Let me push through this emotion so that I can get on the other side of my outcome. Right? So let me push past the fear. What's on the other side of the fear? What's on the other side of the frustration? What's on the other side of the resentment? When you learn how to push past those emotions and allow the emotion to push you into what's next versus hold you captive and keep you bound, because what it's doing is it's keeping you in the past. And so this is why you feel like you're unqualified. This is why you feel like you're not validated or that you need validation. It's because you're allowing an emotion that you once experienced based off of whatever behavior, whatever accomplishment, whatever it is that you experience. And that emotion, whether or not you were expecting someone to show up, to cheer for you, to validate you, and they weren't there, you're allowing that emotion to keep you stuck. Because now what you're doing is you're saying, well, if I weren't qualified then, what makes me qualified now? It's internal work. It's a mindset shift that has to happen. What are you listening to? The Bible talks about faith comes by hearing. That's really been standing out to me, because we will get into a space where, I don't want to hear church sermons, or I don't want to hear motivational speakers or inspirational speakers. I don't want to hear, trainers and teachers teach. But faith comes by hearing. What are you depositing into your system each and every day? The same way that we're supposed to eat natural food, we are supposed to feed our bodies. We're supposed to feed our mindset. We're supposed to feed ourselves through the things that we listen to. And if you're only feeding yourself with something that can cause detriment to your future. Now, here's the thing. I know that a lot of us say, well, Latoya, this is how I unwind, or this is how I just release. And while those things sound good, you don't understand what's being released in you. So based off of the music that you listen to, yeah, it may be what gets you hyped, but what are the words depositing into your spirit? When you start finding yourself reciting these words and singing these words, not even paying attention that you even know the lyrics, but what are you allowing to be sown into your body? What are you watching? It's so funny. I used to love all the ratchet TV, all the ratchetness, right? But what I found it doing is it fed a part of me that I didn't want to relive anymore. It fed the mean girl part of me, right? It fed the bad attitude part of me. If yes, all these things who I once were, right? Who I once was, and I'm allowing what I'm watching on TV, while it's entertaining, it's feeding that part of me. So if I ever need to pop off, it's okay, because it may not be my all the time behavior, but that piece of me that's being fed, it gives me an opportunity in that moment to pop off and it be okay. But will popping off get me to where I want to go next? Or is it keeping me in my past? Are we allowing our emotions to establish truth in our lives? It's the inside work that qualifies you. What does it qualify you to do? It qualifies you to live a life of abundance. What is abundant living? It's the fullness. It's lacking nothing. I'm talking about from emotional health to spiritual health to physical health. When you understand that the inside work is what qualifies you, it allows you to be free to become. I shared this. It was such a profound moment when I acknowledged this, where we get so consumed with, especially as leaders, right? We get so consumed with looking for the outward reward, where I want the outward reward, but we're not recognizing the internal rewards that's happening. When you begin to work on yourself and you begin to work on your character, you work on your integrity, you work on your words, you work on your thoughts, you work on the inside part of you. You're learning how to handle conflict better. You're learning how to be slow to anger. You're learning how to communicate better. You're learning how to build better relationships. All of these things require internal work, but it yields such a massive external reward. When you're able to communicate better, you're able to build teams better, you're able to You're able to build a community better. You're able to connect with a culture better. All these things are all internal. It's an internal process. And when you begin to do the internal work, you begin to see professional success. You begin to see personal success. And you recognize that the qualifications to become who you want to become isn't necessarily in how many degrees you've received or how many certificates you've received, but it's in the internal work to become the person that is qualified for the role, for the position, or what's next. Are you qualified? Meaning, are you doing the internal work? You want to have a certain amount of money in your bank account. Are you doing the internal work so that you can shift and prepare your mindset for the income, where you're not spending recklessly, where you're being fruitful and you're multiplying what's being given to you? This is all the internal work. You're building the business, but are you becoming the business owner? Are you becoming the business? Are you aligning your time, your routines, your habits according to what's required so that your business can reach whatever level that you desire for it to reach? Are you becoming the leader that you're leading other people to be? One thing that that we teach here at the Coach My Life Network is to become what you teach. To become, if you are a leader and you are building out your teams and you're focusing on performance, you're focusing on people, you're focusing on processes, but yet you aren't living and being what you're teaching others to become, then you'll find a lot of ruckus. You'll find conflict. Why? Because if you're going to teach it, you need to be it. It's the inside work that qualifies you. It qualifies you for what you want next. It's the inside work that qualifies you to wear a size 6 or 10 or 32, or 36, 38 if you're a man. I don't even know what you guys' body frame types are, but it's the inside work that qualifies you to wear that. It's the inside work that qualifies you to speak from a certain position and lead with a certain level of authority and to gain the success or reap the success that you desire. It's the inside work that qualifies you. So listen, I want to encourage you. Take a moment today and identify what internal conflicts are stopping me from reaching my next goal. What thoughts do I need to put into check that are stopping me? What am I telling myself? What has your past told you to believe about yourself today? Because we'll allow past behaviors and experiences to determine our future when we really should be using those past experiences to shape our future, to make us better for the future you. Understand that who you are to become, it's not just about you. Maximize Your Monday is not just about maximizing you. It's about maximizing you so that you can be an impact to the people that you're connected to. Identify the internal conflicts that are keeping you stuck. Identify what's stopping you. Every time you say, I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and you don't, why? Every time you say, I'm going to work on my business when I get off of work, why don't you? How much longer are you going to allow your excuses to justify your reasoning of not reaching the next place or the next level that God has for you? Understand that that next level is not about you. That next level is to be an example, is to be the evidence to the people who are watching you. Sometimes the only light that people see is through your behaviors, through your actions. What are you stopping? What are you stopping someone else from becoming? Because you refuse to sacrifice. You refuse to sacrifice your comfort. You refuse to sacrifice your mindset. What is it stopping you? Every time I pick up a chip or a cookie, I am telling my children that it's not okay, that it's okay to not discipline my flesh. What are you doing in your everyday that is causing someone else to not be great? What decisions do you need to make? Because here's the thing, a choice and a decision is not the same. A choice means I need to choose amongst 1, 2, 3, 5, or 10. It means I have options. When you make a decision, there are no options. I have decided to become. I have decided to live and to live life more abundantly. I have decided. And so in my decisions, I've already decided everything that is against it. So if my behavior, if there's something that I'm doing that is against my decision, then I have to abort it. If there's something, if there's an attitude, if there's a feeling, if there's an emotion that is stopping me from fulfilling the decision, then I have to abort it. What's stopping you from fulfilling the decision? What's stopping you from showing up qualified for whatever it is that you're pursuing? It's the inside work that qualifies you. Are you passing the test? Listen, make sure you click the link in the caption. We have coaches on the Coach My Life Network who are available to you in specific areas of your life to help you remove the roadblocks, remove the challenges. We have Self Coach Tiffany, who is designed to help you. If you are a mom who is struggling with a special needs child, we have someone to connect with you to help you remove those roadblocks. If you are if you're looking to start your business, but you're struggling with confidence, we have Coach Brittany, who's on our network, who's available and ready to partner with you to help you eliminate and remove those roadblocks. If you are struggling and you're in your body, in your health, and you're finding yourself upset and in anger, we have unforgiveness. We have our forgiveness coach, Coach Sandra, who's here to partner with you to help you remove and eliminate the roadblocks. Understand that the inability to forgive is a roadblock. Even if you're not acknowledging it as unforgiveness, you need to make sure that you're sitting down and you're doing the work, because it's the inside work that qualifies you for next. Listen, have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for rocking out with me, and I hope that you take the time to click the link in the comments, learn more about our coaches, purchase your Call to Coach. That's not what this is. Purchase your Coach My Life book, volume 4. It'll bless you. It is our coaching through a book. If you need that support, we have an amazing dad coach who has contributed to the Coach My Life Volume 4. And he's talking about, how do I navigate through co-parenting? How do I navigate through a relationship with a man or a woman who's having a child outside of marriage? How do I make that relationship work? Fathership is leadership. Make sure you guys check out the book. Make sure you click the link, and make sure you connect with one of our qualified coaches so that you too can do the work on the inside and be qualified for whatever it is that you're looking to pursue. See you guys in the next video. Be blessed.